So, it's been a little over a year since the Ban Bossy campaign was released, and it's still going strong. I mean, I wouldn't say strong, but feminists are still bringing it up. It's a strange thing, Ban Bossy. Ignoring the fact that women thought it was a good idea to try to ban the word bossy by being bossy. Incredible levels of irony there. There was a question that was never actually addressed or never talked about when it came to ban bossy. And in today's video, I'm going to ask that question. The most important question that should have been asked when it came to the whole ban bossy campaign. But before we get into that, let's talk about how ban bossy is such a terrible campaign to begin with, especially for little girls. Right now, you tell me that little girls, get discouraged from leadership positions because they're called bossy. Now, I've heard women repeat that continuously. I've heard Lacey Green say that. I heard Emma Watson say that. The women in the Ban Bossy campaign ad said that. And there's one peculiar thing about that. All of the women that were called bossy grew up to become very wealthy and successful millionaires. Huh, go figure. That's strange. These are all successful women who were called bossy, and yet they're making a campaign to stop people from calling them bossy. It would kind of seem to me that if there was ever a point in time where you wanted social Darwinism to weed out the weak people, it would be the people you want in positions of power. The people who are competent enough to do their damn jobs. That's what I would think. That if there's ever a point in time where you would want to weed out the weaklings, it would be here, in this critical moment. That we should just call women bossy and see which one of them can ignore it and go out and do what they want to do. Right? That's what you would think, but I guess not. According to these women who were called bossy, they're all successful, and yet they want to stop people from calling other girls bossy. It's very counterintuitive. You would think to themselves. They weren't discouraged by the word bossy, so why would any other woman with the drive to become successful also be discouraged? I don't know. Very peculiar thing there. It's very ironic. It's ironic on a lot of fronts. It's ironic because the bossy women telling you to ban bossy, and then you have the fact that these women are all successful, even though they were called bossy. Now, the thing about ban bossy is I realized very early on that these women and these feminists did not actually want to ban the word bossy. I realized that. A lot of people focused on free speech. They're like, you're trying to ban a word. And I'm like, no. You guys missed something very important. Anyone who primarily focused on the feminists trying to ban the word bossy missed the most important part about the Ban Bossy campaign that a lot of people didn't talk about. I don't think anyone ever asked themselves this very crucial and important question, right? Because again, I figured very early on they didn't actually mean ban the word bossy. How are they going to do that, and why would they only ban the word bossy? If there's any B word you would ban, you'd think it would be bitch, but I guess not. So yeah, I realized that they're not that stupid. Right, so I never even cared about the whole free speech thing. I knew that's not what they meant when they said ban bossy. They really just meant stop saying the word bossy. That's what they meant. That's all. But now it's time to ask the most important question when it came to the Ban Bossy campaign. A lot of people weren't asking. They weren't asking themselves the real question. And the real question that should have been asked is, what if the girl was being bossy? What if the girl was being bossy? What if you said, stop being bossy because she was being bossy? Even if we take out the word bossy, we can substitute it for a whole bunch of other synonyms like controlling, domineering, a whole bunch of list of synonyms you could use to describe the action of trying to force people to do what you want them to do. What if the girl was being bossy? What if she was being controlling? See, here's the thing. Being bossy is not a good way to be a leader. It makes people resent you a little bit. It doesn't make people want to do their jobs very well. You see, the mark of a true leader, the mark of a good leader, is the fact that he gets you to do what he wants you to do. He makes it so that you want to do it. He galvanizes you to do what you need to do. The thing that really got Hitler a lot, and Hitler is a good example of this. I mean, he was a terrible person, but his leadership skills were great because he got a bunch of people to do what he wanted them to do. But the trick is, they wanted to do it. It takes a lot of different type of manipulation that goes in there. It takes a lot of time to do the propaganda that he did. But they say when he spoke, his words, the speech, his mannerisms, he galvanized people to do what he wanted them to do. Martin Luther King, another great leader, on the complete opposite side of Hitler. And I'm using these two to prove a point here, that being a leader is all about galvanizing people and making them want to follow you. People wanted to follow Martin Luther King because he had a great moral framework. He spoke with sense, he was nonviolent, and he was kind. He convinced people to follow him, not by controlling them, but by talking to them and being reasonable and being kind-hearted and nonviolent. Being a leader is not about getting people to do what you want them to do. It's about making them want to do it as well. And there are more than one ways to be a leader than to just telling people what to do. Being a boss isn't just about being in charge. It's about making a good work environment for the people under you. It's about making it a bearable working environment, a good working environment. Band Bossy missed the mark here. Because when you call a little girl bossy, that should be a point in her life where she stops and reflects upon her actions. She should ask herself, am I being bossy? Am I being controlling? Am I being domineering? And if I am, maybe I can change it. That's a point in time where you can actually make a real leader. Where you can actually change the course of a girl's life. By actually challenging her. By actually asking her and talking to her. Instead of just saying, don't say the word bossy and letting all this bossy behavior continue. I mean, of course, you stop being controlling. And then that'll be the next campaign, right? But whatever. You can say, stop being controlling or domineering. The girl is going to then be forced to think, how can I get these people to do what I want them to do? And it's not really manipulation per se, but, you can honestly get people to want to do what you want. You can talk to them honestly and say, hey, look, if you do this, you get a reward. Or, hey, look, if we do this, we're going to look good, we're going to look great. And there are lots of different ways to galvanize your group to do what you want them to do. But being a leader isn't just about having control and power. It is also about taking care of the needs of the people around you. It is also about being kind. And it is also about, listening and absorbing new different ways to grow up and live in life. And telling a girl to stop being bossy can open up the gateway to do that if you actually talk to her, I mean, children, they don't know anything, but they're pretty intelligent. If you just talk to children, or if you just force children to use their brains, guess what? They're going to get smarter because they actually thought about what's going on in the world. So yeah. That's the thing about Band Bossy. Feminists really missed the mark there. It was an opportunity. That's an opportunity, That is an opportunity to create the strong, independent women you claim you want to make. But if you protect them and you coddle them all of the time, you're going to get a bunch of women who rely on men, or who rely on the government, or who rely on other people, instead of women who do introspection and actually want to become better. You don't get stronger in life without meeting challenges. My dad always says this: you don't test steel by looking at it, you test steel by beating on it. And that is an important lesson that a lot of young women need to learn. It's true that sometimes life can beat you down a lot more than you can withstand it, but that's another topic for another time. So those are some thoughts about Band Bossy. It's a stupid campaign. It's very counterproductive to what you actually want to create. And it's very ironic. So yeah, it's a really big joke to me, and certainly I hope I left you guys with something to think about. So man, with that being said, man, I certainly hope you guys enjoyed today's video, and if you did, man, go ahead and click the like button. Go ahead and click that subscribe button. Comment in the comment box below, and as always, have a great day. I'll see you cool cats soon. Adios.